this video, Naval Ravikant will share 16 genius insights that honestly I wish I heard sooner, especially number 9. It really changed my perspective. I'm Jordan, made over $5 million, hired 50 people, and here are the first truths.
What is the end goal for me? There is no end goal. Any, meaning, the meaning of life question is kind of a nonsense question. Any end goal will just lead to kind of another goal, lead to another goal. We just play games in life, right? You grow up, you're playing the school game, you're playing the social game, then you're playing the money game, then you're playing the status game. And these games just sort of have longer and longer and longer lived horizons. But at some point, at least I believe that these are all just games. And so, but they're games where the outcome really stops mattering once you kind of see through a game. It's like, I don't know how many of you have been hardcore video gamers, but you play a lot of games, and then after a while you pick up the sort of the 50th game or the 100th game, and you know the cycle that you're going to go through. You're going to go through this rush as you get into it, then you're going to lose yourself in it, and then eventually you're just going to get tired of it. It's just going to be this Ferris wheel where you're going to ride the dopamine up and you're going to ride the dopamine down. And so then you just get tired of games. So I would say I'm kind of at the stage where I'm just tired of games. So I don't think there is any end goal or purpose. I'm just living life as I want to. I'm literally just doing it moment to moment. Yeah, exactly. Gary mentioned just the hedonic treadmill. It's a hedonic treadmill. So, I want to be off the hedonic treadmill.
So insightful. 4 truths when I hear this. Like Naval once said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Life's meaning isn't a finish line. It's in realizing that there is no finish line. The result for winning one game is often just an entry into another one. And the real game starts when you stop keeping score. But what does Naval mean with getting off this hedonic treadmill?
How do I measure effectiveness? I don't measure effectiveness at all. I don't believe in self-measurement. I feel like this is a form of self-discipline, a form of self-punishment. It's a form of self-conflict.
What I hear when Naval says that is that the more you self-measure, the more conflict you will feel and the more discipline you will need. Now, is that true? Well, for instance, if I desire to have 100,000 subscribers and I measure my stats every month, then wouldn't I feel irritation if I'm still far away from that goal? Wouldn't I feel more self-conflict if I measure this every day instead of every month? Well, I think so. And as a consequence, I would probably want to find ways to get there faster. Partially to remove my negative emotions that I feel after measuring and seeing how far I'm away from it, but also of course to experience the pleasure of reaching the goal. But then in this example, what has happened in the past is that I create videos that I don't enjoy creating just for the potential results, and that led me to discipline myself in creating them. So then, does this mean you should avoid measuring data?
Would I agree that metrics are important in business? They're critical in business.
Yeah, I believe so too. After doing over $5 million in revenue, I found that to be true. And if you want to read more of the truths that I find in my own life or business as a creator, then you can read them in my 2-minute email. I will put a link somewhere below, where you can also access my free Google Sheet with over 80 free tools that I use in my business and personal life to create videos, but also things that save me time. Trust me, it's actually good, and no affiliate links. Anyways, I think it is more about understanding the consequences of both setting goals and measuring against them. And one of those consequences, I think, is the great paradox that the more you try to control outcomes, the more you fear losing control, isn't it? Also consider this.
Discipline is really overrated. Discipline is just you fighting with yourself to do something you don't want to do. I would say it's more important to find something that you want to do and that can be productive.
I think the key truth in this is something that Naval often mentions, which is to follow your curiosity. Now, many people online call this shiny object syndrome and something that you should avoid, you should ignore. So my question for you, what if your interests, the things that you're curious about from day to day, what if those aren't distractions from your path, that they are your path? Which brings me to another truth that I found. Learning what excites me creates luck other people can't copy, because my curiosity is unique to me, and so will be my discoveries. But above all, I will experience less self-conflict, which brings me to effortlessness. Listen closely, I found this really insightful.
One of the things I've learned relatively recently in life is that it's way more important to perfect your desires if you want to do something than it is to try to do that thing when your desire is not 100%. An example would be like, self-discipline. When we say, okay, I want self-discipline, like to eat healthy food, you might be constantly fighting with yourself. Oh, I just ate unhealthy food. Oh, I just ate healthy food. But I think if you look at the desire component, if you had the desire to eat the healthy food, then you would do it effortlessly. You wouldn't need the self-discipline. And so what that means is it's way more important to figure out what are the tastiest healthy foods that you like and making sure that they're always available to you, as opposed to then just having a constant self-discipline while putting yourself in environments where the tasty healthy food isn't around.
Same with books, right? You're more likely to read if one next to you is one that you like or you're interested in that moment. So the truth here, it's more important to perfect your desires rather than chasing something that you don't actually like or want as much. The easiest way to win a battle is to choose one you enjoy fighting. So then what if you choose the battle following your curiosity? And I say battle here because if you want to make money from following your curiosity, because you're not a millionaire yet, then there is still a challenge, right? For instance, writing a book about something that you are curious about, that you really like, and at the same time having the desire to sell the most amount of copies. Then the battle would be writing the book with the least amount of compromise, right? Well, here's Naval's answer.
The less you want something, the less you're thinking about it, the less you're obsessing over it, the more you're going to do it in a natural way, the more you're going to do it for yourself, the more you're going to do it in a way that you're very good at it, the more you're going to stick with it, and the people around you will see the quality of your work is higher.
Maybe just like chasing a dog. When you chase after a dog, it runs away. But the moment you forget him, he follows. I think the true insight here is to realize the following spectrum for yourself, where the more things you do for yourself, like exploring the things that you're curious about, the less you think, the less you experience self-conflict, the less you obsess about the outcome from exploring that thing, because exploring the thing itself is already the big reward. So the achievement is no longer that important. Before Naval expands on this, I have 3 questions for you. What if the less you think about the goal, the closer it gets? What if the freedom from success leads to real success, and that the quality rises as your anxiety falls? Anyways, here's Naval's answer to the money struggle that you may experience in the beginning when following your passions.
How do you start living the life you want when you don't have enough money? There's this other guy on Twitter, Liad Chabot. He had a great tweet where he said, not wanting something is as good as having it. So, except for maybe one thing that you're working on at a time, I would suggest that for everything else, you should cultivate not wanting it. Indifference is actually the ultimate superpower. If you want to win a negotiation, you just have to care less than the other person. If you want the upper hand in a relationship, you just have to care less than the other person. Weirdly enough, it even works in business opportunities. The less you kind of genuinely want them, the more they're offered to you, assuming you have a certain level of skill set. I'm not saying be apathetic, but I'm saying that you kind of have to be quantumous. You have to be good with the outcome either way. You still do your best job. You still put in the effort because that's who you are, but you don't get attached to the outcome. And this is wisdom that's as old as the hill. This goes back to the Bhagavad Gita. But yeah, I think detachment is good because detachment is necessary for peace, and peace is necessary for happiness. So even though we're taught and educated by society to be passionate and not detached, I think it's okay to be passionate about one thing at a time, but you can't be passionate about too many things, especially things you can't control. If you're passionate about things outside of your control, like politics, you're going to be miserable.
4 insights here. Detachment is a requirement for peace, or how I like to say it, the highest peace comes from the lowest attachment. The more passions you have that are outside of your control, the less peace you will experience. Not wanting something is as good as having it. And that reminds me of the following from Socrates.
There's an old thing, a story that I always liked about Socrates, where they took him into the equivalent of the mall, the market, and there were all these luxuries and fineries and things laid out and delicacies to eat. And he said, there are so many things in this world that I do not want. And I was like, oh, that's power. That's it right there.
True discipline isn't saying no to things. It's not wanting them at all. But what about Alex Hormozi and Cristiano Ronaldo telling us we should be disciplined?
Self-discipline it's tough. You won't sustain it. Like, Tiger Woods didn't become a great golfer through self-discipline.
So what I hear is that Ronaldo did not become the best because of discipline, but despite of it. Like Naval once wrote, if you are counting, you will run out of patience before success actually arrives. Everyone wants to be rich immediately, but the world is an effective place. Immediate doesn't work. You do have to put in the time, and you will likely put in the time when you simply enjoy it more.
It's not done for any external purpose. If you're doing it for money, it's less, you're hurting its capability to be art. It's not to say it can't still be great art, but you're now beholden to other interests. It's like motivated reasoning. It's like true scientists try to figure things out to fulfill their desire to figure things out, right? And the moment they figure it out, it's complete. They don't need a Nobel Prize or a Fields Medal afterwards. And in fact, some of the better ones have rejected that. Or like famously Bob Dylan, I think, rejected the Pulitzer Prize or whatever it was. Like he got some massive prize, didn't even show up, didn't even bother because he knows his music is good. He created it for himself.
Creating it for yourself. And my friend, maybe forget about the money. I mean, isn't a life lost in your art the one worth most living? Well, Naval goes deeper on it in this video. See you there or not. Talk soon.